Do we have the footage of Mike's recent training? I think you should watch. I don't know if you've seen his recent training footage.
So you have a parlay and
Wait, no. What the fuck?
the audible.
If it wasn't for boxing, I don't know where I would have ended up. It's more than a sport. It's a lifesaver. For many fighters, including myself, it was that one thing that kept them connected to the ground. That one thing that gave them a reason to move forward. And that's the reason why, ever since the beginning of my career, I always had one ambition in mind: to give back everything I could to this sport, helping others find their way, just like I did. It's in my blood. It's part of me. But let's get real for a minute. Boxing is not for everyone. They are not all going to pull in 100 million viewers or sell out arenas with tens of thousands tugging on the doors. You have got to be more than a fighter. You have got to be an entertainer, a businessman, and a fighter all rolled into one. Some would say it is not all about the numbers, but let's be realistic. In this sport, the numbers speak volumes. Boxing was here way before all of us, and it's going to be here way after we're gone. Everyone leaves their mark, but only a few take it to the next level. That's what this is about: the legacy, the history, the impact. I'm in the Hall of Fame. Where have you been? Kick my ass, fight me in the gym if you want to prove something. But let me explain something to you. Legacy isn't just about win or lose, it's about getting back up, and getting back out there. 911, what's your emergency? No. No, you're going to do it? Do it? You're going to die. Why? This is no game. It is a matter of life and death, most of the time. The risks involved are great, and one wrong move may cost one his life. That is why mental toughness is just as important as physical strength. Relax, fella. Take a chill pill. Sometimes you gotta know when to pick 'em. It's my time, it's my era. I'm going to be here for a while, and that's a fact. I want to be considered the greatest ever, the last one to do it, because there's nobody greater than me. Confidence or arrogance, the line between the two, at least in boxing, is tenuous at best. But let there be no mistake, the truly great fighters know that behind the bravado, there's hard work, discipline, and relentless training. Tyson, much like many others, knew that. It's not just about fighting, it's about dominating. I don't care who gets mad, tell them to come see me. This is what we do. We hurt people. We fight. Boxing is brutal, and it is not for the faint of heart. It's a sport where respect is earned, not given. And sometimes that respect comes at a high price. But there is also a darker side to this sport, a side of anger, desperation, and fear. The pressure of being on top pushes these fighters to the edge, and often it pushes them too far over the edge. This world can't exist without me. I'm the king of so many countries. I am the best ever and will be in boxing. It's really easy to get wrapped in all the hype and start believing you're invincible. But nobody's untouchable. And every fighter, no matter how great, has his own personal demons. Take, for example, Ryan Garcia. So young, so talented, with a promise of so much to give the sport in the years to come. He's facing the biggest personal challenges that any fighter should have to bear with. Indeed, his recent behavior has brought up many worries and questions in relation to his mental health and stability. Where great potential often occurs, great pressure is sure to be experienced, and with Ryan, it indeed has been extreme. A year ago, we already saw a different side of him, one that very few thought would be begging questions of his future as brought by fans and critics alike. His recent in-ring and extra-ring activities have been covered with controversy and raised serious concerns about his mental health and stability. Ryan has been brave enough to make his struggles with anxiety and depression public, something that is not often seen in the sport as other than a sign of weakness. In the last few months, though, the issues have come into sharper relief due to the controversies surrounding him. There are those who say it is a sign of strength, a character witness for one who fights all comers inside the ring and his inner demons outside it. Others fear these obstacles may be a bit too much for the young scrapper, who's at risk of having a career that once seemed unstoppable, completely derailed. Jake Paul is handsome. My family loves Jake. Another example would be Jake Paul, who has polarized the boxing world in more ways than one. A new audience he certainly brought into the sport, but boy, with a ton of criticism. Some do see him as a breath of fresh air, while others see him as more of a disruptor, someone who doesn't respect the sport's traditions. Tyson's backing of both Garcia and Paul has garnered mixed reactions, a testament to how the sport is changing, embracing new stars with new energy. At the same time, it begs the question, What does the sport of boxing really stand for anymore? Promoter Eddie Hearn is one of the most influential figures in boxing, and he has shown publicly his concern for Garcia's mental health with this snowballing crisis. Hearn has been in the sport long enough to have seen his share of fighters rise and fall, and he doesn't say anything out of mere speculation, concerned not just about Garcia's future in the ring, but about his overall well-being. "He's a good kid, but his head's falling off and he needs help now," said Hearn, pointing to the visible signs of stress that have been cropping up of late in the behavior of Garcia. Hearn's words shed light on the one elephant in the room not often mentioned in professional sports: mental health. Professional sports athletes like Garcia are constantly bashed with expectations that go beyond what they have to face in the ring. When everything gets out of hand, the mental burden may be disastrous. According to Hearn's observations, Garcia might have it worse than many imagine, and his latest actions might have been a call for help. In the high-stakes world of professional boxing, where every move is put under a magnifying glass and every mistake is amplified, pressure to keep a flawless image can be unbearable. Expectations weigh heavier on the likes of Garcia, who has been living his life under magnifying glass since he was a teenager. It is a perfect storm of stress that seems too great for the young Garcia to keep to himself, with the concurrence of a failed drug test, racist remarks, and the controversy that ensued because of these. His promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, one of the most respected legends in the sport, didn't sugarcoat the matter at hand. In a public statement, De La Hoya made sure to voice that Garcia's actions would not be taken lightly. "We at Golden Boy don't condone racism." What he said was wrong, stated De La Hoya in condemning the behavior causing this stir. His words speak not only of the seriousness of it all, but also how high Golden Boy Promotions holds its standards against its fighters. In the boxing world, respect and discipline are dogmas. Actions like these may result in extremely long-lived consequences. However, De La Hoya didn't stop with condemnation. Realizing the severity of the situation and deeper issues that might have been part of Garcia's behavior, De La Hoya also confirmed that Garcia has checked himself into rehab. A very crucial step back in the right direction, not only for the career of Garcia, but his personal health and well-being. The question as Garcia begins his therapy: can he repair the damage to his career and reputation? His recent public apology, delivered with a tone of sincerity, is the first part of that answer. Garcia expressed deep regret for his actions in his statement, citing the pain he has caused to his fans, the boxing community, and those directly affected by his words and behavior. His apology did not sound like a knee-jerk reaction. It came across as an honest feeling of repentance, an acknowledgement, if you will, of the seriousness of his errors. But in the world of professional sports, words are rarely sufficient to heal broken trust. Garcia's apology was indeed sincere, but sincerity itself forms only one piece of the jigsaw puzzle. It's the commitment to change, really how he institutes this into action. The boxing community is merciless and zealous. All eyes will be on him. Every move Garcia will make, the fans and critics alike will dissect for an inkling that, yes, he is on his way to redemption. "I know I have messed up a lot, and I am receiving professional help. I want to be better for me and for my family." Well, Ryan Garcia has now apologized and looks forward to getting help. This is a step in the right direction. Now the question is whether he will be able to get his career back on track, and, most importantly, get the careers of his fans back on track. Mike Tyson, in his own right, is a living legend who literally has witnessed everything. He has been on top of the world and has also reached rock bottom. His support for these young fighters shows that he understands the pressures they are going through, yet he highlights how much more responsible they have to be towards themselves and towards the sport. The reason being, critics believe that this rise to prominence in boxing by Paul is more due to his celebrity status and influence he enforces on social media, rather than as a skilled boxer. They consider him to be one of those persons who have taken a shortcut into this field, without having put in any sort of hard work, dedication, and respect towards their sport. This perception is pretty contentious, also considering the fact that boxing is one of those games which thrives on discipline, resilience, and respect gained through rigorous competition. The point is driven home with the sentiment that involvement by Paul in boxing is tantamount to undermining the sport's integrity. It would open the floodgates for less than loyal athletes to be involved in the sport for reasons other than love of the sport, but rather for fame and fortune. Potentially, it could lessen the quality and reputation of boxing as a whole. More accurately, while Jake Paul had his triumphant moments in the sport and followers who praise him for his courage to get into the ring, the professional world of boxing has a very skeptical view of him being a legitimate boxer. They see his journey more as a spectacle than the pursuit of excellence in boxing, as some even refer to him as a disgrace to the sport. The critique is the epitome of the continued acrimony between the New Age purveyors of influence and the traditional values of in-place sporting events like boxing. Talk of the town is Ryan Garcia's newest controversy, and some question if that is the end of his career. Highs and lows he has gone through, but this time around, he's in a different situation altogether. The question now would be this: do you really think that this time he will get back stronger, or is this the beginning of the end? Add in Jake Paul. There are rumors of him possibly fighting Mike Tyson, and a lot of people have been thinking that perhaps Jake would retire after such a huge fight. Fighting a legend like Tyson would not be something to sneeze at, and the result of that fight would go a long way in determining where Paul would go in the sport of boxing. You really think Jake Paul has the grit to keep going forward after going up against a titan like Tyson, or is this maybe his last chapter in boxing?